Hi there, it's Laura Keller with the We Know Lanark County podcast, and I'm here with Nick and Pat from the El Pacho's Tacos food truck. Hey guys, how's it going?
Good,
Good,
good.
good.
Hi, everyone.
Good. So tell me about the name of this food truck. Where did this come from?
Yeah, so it's kind of a different name. So we've actually had a little bit of a funny story there to it. So we have had some Spanish and Hispanic people be like, I've never heard of that word, but what does this even mean? And basically, it's my name, Pat, with
Yeah,
Cho at the end to match with tacos.
right.
Make it rhyme, make it roll off the tongue really nice. Also, first time opening a business, being unsure with everything. I did also know that as long as I had my name in the name of the business,
Yeah.
things would be fine. So yeah, and here we are, El Pachos.
Yeah, that's it. It's a great name and it's like very obvious what you're selling.
Good,
Um,
perfect.
Yeah. So this was sort of like your brainchild, right, Pat? And then Nick kind of came in a little bit later.
Yeah, yeah. So it started off as kind of like my little my project, so to speak, at the start. I have a culinary background. Actually, did a college project on opening a food truck.
Nice.
So it's always been something a little bit in the back of my mind. And in 2020, I was working in the wedding industry at Stonefields Estate off the Ninth Line of Beckwith. They're
Right.
local as well. And when the pandemic hit, nobody was having weddings, no one was getting married. I was fortunate enough to be able to stay on the ground maintenance crew for the remainder of the 2020 season.
Wow.
But then, that's not what I do. I'm a cook. I love being in the kitchen. So come the end of that season, things weren't really looking like the wedding industry was going to open up anytime soon. I've worked in a lot of the pubs in town and I wasn't feeling like wanting to go back. Also, at the time of the pandemic, the pubs weren't doing very well either. They had a lot of closures as well. So I figured, maybe now's the time. Jump in on the food truck and come up with something that's takeout. Takeout seems to be surviving and
Yeah,
thriving through the pandemic,
for
right?
sure.
So yeah, I had took what I had left in my savings and found a truck, all that stuff, got started. Um, and then Nick and I go way, way back. With high school, everything like that. We remained in contact all out of high school, all through college. So he's always knowing this. Um, Nick also is pretty interested in food as well. Um, so once I started running into hiccups there, we had been talking about it, and he's like, "Well, why don't I come along and help?" Like he had solutions for a lot of the problems that I
Right.
was facing. I'll let him talk about himself there, but he has the architectural background,
Yeah.
which really, really came in handy as we were hitting a lot of those roadblocks last
Right.
season.
So Pat sort of does the food stuff. Nick sort of like, how do you see your role? Do you have a job title or is it just like the other guy who doesn't cook?
No, I mean, I get in there when I can, but
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah.
so basically, while he was coming up with this idea in 2020, I was super, super sick. I basically I couldn't leave the house without either throwing up or doing whatever, and
Oh
I
my
didn't know
gosh.
what it was. So after a bunch of tests, I found out that I was gluten free and dairy free, right? And one of the
Wow.
things that I found that I could eat was tacos. They were so like just they're so awesome you could do whatever with them, right?
Yes.
Um, and so when finding that and then him having the idea of the taco truck, it was kind of a no-brainer, right? To me, it was like I love tacos there. And he had also been talking about trying to make them allergy free, not allergy free, but allergy what's the word I'm looking for?
Sensitive.
Yeah, sensitive, exactly.
Yeah.
And so then, yeah, he ran into a bunch of these problems. That's when I came in, and then we kind of just made a huge game plan, and not only got those roadblocks, discovered and found a solution for them, but catered our menu towards gluten-free and dairy-free, and to have those options for the majority of the customers that we have. So yeah, that's kind of, you know, where we kind of tied in together.
Yeah, I mean, it makes so much sense. It seems like a really good partnership and sort of serendipitous how it came together at the right time, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. So Pat, where did you go to school for culinary?
Algonquin College.
Okay.
I took the culinary management program, which was a 2-year mix of the culinary skills as well as the business management program.
Right.
Yeah.
And Nick, what's your professional background? What do you do other than tacos?
Other than tacos, yeah, no. By trade, I'm an architectural technologist. I also went to Algonquin College. So yeah, when we were, you know, making the plans, we needed site plans and documentations and all that stuff. I was a huge help with that, you know, creating
right in your wheelhouse.
And yeah, it was perfect, right?
Nick has a lot of strengths where I have weaknesses, which is perfect. So yeah,
the yin and yang that you want to have in a friendship and a partnership. So that sounds like it was ready to go from the get-go. Yeah. Do you know when you're opening the truck? I know you're just finalizing your licensing for this season. Do you have a date?
Yeah, so we are. Yeah, we're kind of on the fence right now. So main thing holding us back, even though we are just about to get our license, is our main fridge in the truck actually crapped out last season for our last about 2 weeks that we were open. So we were running those last 2 weeks with a fridge down. Basically, we were making it work with between our other little fridges that we had, so we did make it work. So we're like, can we make it work again for the start of this season? But if not, we have already ordered the new fridge. It's about a week to 2 weeks on order, 7 to 10 business days. So we may wait for that fridge to come in to make sure that we're all set and ready to go. Especially with having the new menu items and needing a bit more fridge space than we did last year.
Makes sense to wait. It's not warm yet either, right? So
no, and you know what? Getting open in April is still way better than August, whether it's middle of April or the end of April, right?
Yes, no kidding. Yeah, you had
last year.
You had some hiccups last year with equipment on your truck, right? And big learning curve for
yeah. So yeah, we did. We pretty much gutted and redid the entirety of the truck to make sure it was up to code, and that all the inspectors and everything were happy with everything, and that we were comfortable with how everything turned out as well. So it started off, we had to change our ventilation system on the truck, which then in turn turned into everything else. Your fire suppression system, you know, it has to tie into your hood vents, and then your gas lines also tie into your suppression system.
Right.
So we had to go, you know, suppression, gas lines. Our water lines they broke on us as well when we got the truck. So pretty much everything got redone.
The good news is you basically have a new truck.
You got it. And we've just gone through the whole setup and open up process, and we didn't run into any issues with anything this year. So we're happy we worked through it last year.
Well, we cannot wait till you open up. You mentioned the new menu. I know last year you had a few items and you're expanding a little bit more this year. Tell me about the new items on the menu.
Yeah, so first thing we're doing is changing our pork option. So we had pork belly on the menu last year, which is a fantastic cut of meat. Very, very cool. Main reason we chose to do that was you don't see pork belly anywhere else around here locally. Not a lot of people are doing it. Yeah. So we thought that was super, super cool. This year we did, in fact, purchase a smoker. So we were looking at smoking other cuts of pork. So we're changing from pork belly to a pulled pork taco, which we think might actually sell a little bit better. It also offers us a not so fatty protein option, with having brisket as our main choice. at the time last year, we didn't have a grill or a smoker or anything. We could only do fried chicken, fried fish, brisket, and pork belly, right? So all pretty fattier options, right? So this pork will be a lighter option for everyone. And then we're looking at expanding some kind of the quick grab like lunch items, so if you're just kind of on the go. So we got a rice bowl that we're bringing in. We tested a special last year that seemed to go over pretty well. So it's also coming in fully gluten-free, dairy-free, and vegan, with the option to add any of our proteins onto it. And we're bringing in house-made chili as well. So you'll be able to get a chili cup with a spoon, grab that and go for a quick, nice, easy lunch.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, right. And we are bringing in nachos as well. So we did try them for on a special last year. So yeah, we're gonna have nachos that will also highlight a dairy-free option as well. So one of the other cool things we're bringing in is a cauliflower queso. Our queso being like a cheese sauce, went over fantastically last year. As Nick had mentioned, he is gluten-free and dairy-free, so he never got to try the queso. And that's something that we talked about in the off-season, that we really wanted to have that option for this year. So we have it.
That's so cool.
Amazing. The cauliflower queso. I actually think I'll be eating it in replace of the regular queso sometimes as well. Very, very good. And then we can offer now vegan and dairy-free options on anything, our poutine, our nachos, all of that.
That's amazing. It's a way different option than what's available, especially at other food trucks, right? Like, you're not sure what kind of oil they're using. You're not sure if it's being fried in the same bin as the pogos or whatever. Like, it's kind of a tough choice for some people to make. So it's nice to have the option. And if you do it properly, it tastes good for everybody, right? It doesn't have to be just for people who have those dietary restrictions. It should be delicious for everybody.
Exactly. Why not? Right. So that's kind of our goal there. And it's I mean, with my culinary background, but then also having Nick as a partner and living with those dietary restrictions on the daily, it also gives us a good chance for me to run stuff by him, try things. What do we think? And actually get some firsthand feedback. The other thing that's super cool is we actually, outside of the flour shell for your taco, your flour tortilla, in the truck. So we actually don't fry flour. We don't fry any gluten-based breadings. Our crispy chicken, our crispy fish are done with cornmeal, which is naturally gluten-free. And then chips and dip, nachos, they are corn-based tortillas as well. Yeah.
And so you do all these awesome menu items, and then you have a catering side too, right? And that's sort of where you come into play, right, Nick?
Yeah.
So
tell me about the catering, Nick.
Yeah, the catering. It's basically a dumbed down version of the menu, right? We're not gonna put everything on the menu, but
simplified. It's not simplified. Dumb. It's
sorry.
simple.
Yeah.
There we go.
Wrong choice. Simplified. So this is where they can, whether it's a wedding or an event or not, they can choose, up to 3 or 4 proteins instead of, all 5 or 6. They can add on, sides, right, which is either a salad or coleslaw or whatnot. And so, yeah, we help out. Weddings is a huge thing. Work have like work events and stuff like that. There's big lunches and stuff. And then again, I mentioned there's one big event that we're going to do this year called the Escapade Music Festival, which is a huge EDM concert. Yeah, it's going to be pretty awesome. There's about 30 plus vendors. about 10 to 12,000 customers or people there, right? So it's going to be big. It's going to be big. We'll have about a team of 5 people.
You're going to need it.
We'll get her done. It'll be 3 days long. So
no water breaks, no bathroom breaks.
No, just selling tacos.
Just selling tacos.
The Laura Keller Real Estate team is your Lanark County expert. If you are interested in making a move, talk to our team today about real estate in Carleton Place, Perth, Almont, or anywhere else in the Lanark County or Ottawa area. Visit laurakeller.ca for more information.
Like what sort of radius do you do then for the catering? Is it like, do you focus around the Carleton Place area, or how far do you go?
We actually we don't really have, I would say within reason, we don't have limitations on that at all. So
wherever the money is, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'll go wherever. We were out. We did a house party last season out in the Dunrobin area. So we're all set up. So the truck itself is non-mobile. It doesn't go to the catering events, right. But we're set up with hot holding containers, cold storage, tables, all that. We have our own extension cords, generator if need be, etc. Wow. To set ourselves up to be fully functional. We did one event out in the Dunrobin area last year, and we did another wedding in the Pakenham area as well. So not just to the Carleton Place, Carleton Place area. Yeah. And
the music festival's in the city, right? So you're driving.
Yeah. So we got invited to come to it last season.
Right.
But, with everything we pushed through last year, and then it was pretty much just Nick and I, and Nick's brother Anthony helped us out a fair bit last year. And we were trying to push for the 7 days a week. Nick also works a full-time job during the week. So we were pretty far stretched pretty thin at that point. So we didn't jump on doing it last year. This year we're bringing in a couple new staff members. We think we're going to be fully capable to jump on it. And they made it a 3-day festival instead of 2 this year. Nice. And they're fully sold out through all 3 days. Wow. Expecting 70,000 people over the 3 days. Oh, right. Yeah. So over the 3 days.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
That'll be a test.
That it will be. So no, you
guys have it down to a science, right? Like you have the things that you do, you know how to do them well. And you mentioned the brisket earlier, and you get that from Pitmaster, right? A local.
Yeah. So the owners of Pitmaster, they're both Wes and Bronson who own Pitmaster. I go far back with both of them. I've known their families for a very long time. And when things were getting delayed for me on the truck, they actually offered for me to come work in the kitchen there just to get a little bit extra cash during the time being. And then I did the same thing this winter. I went back there this winter and helped out in the kitchen for a little bit. They've been great, and we thought, what a great way to get both our names out and capitalize off both our clientele. Because they have a different clientele than we have. And I love that brisket. It's a phenomenal product. At the time, we didn't have our own smoker. Yeah. Now it's still not like a hardwood, kind of like what they do, but still a very nice smoker. So yeah, we were like, why not just put it on the menu full time? And
you don't have to reinvent the wheel, right? It's exactly. It's there for you.
We were messing around with a few different cuts of beef and slow cooking them ourselves and that. And everything was turning out good, but it just wasn't exactly what I was picturing when we were creating the menu. Yeah. And then eating that brisket, I was like, yeah, it needs to be in one of our tacos. But, then it is a very good seller, very, very big seller. It was actually our most popular taco last season. And we, with all the menu changes this year, we didn't change a single thing about the brisket taco. We kept it the exact same. But that being said, we do have our own smoker this year. We are looking into messing around with it ourselves, with brisket, different cuts of meat as well. So who knows for 2023, that may change. All our love to Pitmaster. We would always bring back and highlight one of their products as a special at some point in time. But down the road, we may do our own brisket.
Yeah. Well, the world's your oyster, right? You can create whatever you like.
And that's just it. And tacos are a blank canvas. You can do whatever you like on them, right?
It's a beautiful thing for sure.
It is.
And you've changed up some of your toppings this year, right? For your tacos a little bit. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So that was kind of pretty much the main change we brought into the taco aspect of things, is just looking to differentiate the tacos from each other a little bit more. So last year, they pretty much all base came tomato salsa, guacamole, cheese, and your protein, which is fine. It worked really great. And for the time we had, that was awesome. But now, we want to make each taco a little different and make each taco feel special compared to the other one. Right. So we're bringing different salsas that we've paired with the protein. So instead of just a tomato salsa, each protein will have a little different zest to it.
Especially if you're getting like one of each kind, right? It'll be totally different for every bite.
Yeah, exactly. And it gives us a chance to highlight different like fresh fruits and vegetables as well, which is fantastic.
And you make all of your stuff from scratch, right? Like you don't bring in any, you don't have like a bucket of salsa that you're.
No, we do everything by scratch. Yeah, everything by scratch. The only thing we get away with a little bit is that we have a food processor, so I don't have to cut all the vegetables all the time. But yes, everything's brought in fresh. We actually don't even have a freezer at the truck. So we don't freeze anything. Everything is ordered that week, if not twice that week, to keep up with demand.
Yeah, it makes such a huge difference, especially when you're used to like the old school trucks where they may not even have a fridge. It's just all frozen, right?
Yes.
Everything, it kind of tastes the same, but I think it's such a differentiator when you can have fresh ingredients, because you can tell.
Yes.
Especially people
I find you
care about that stuff.
Very much so. Yeah. And people care more about what they eat nowadays,
Sure.
So we try to cater to that and have an option that's a little bit healthier and something that makes us stick out. There's no shortage of food trucks in Carleton Place, in the Lanark County area, right?
Yeah.
And we wanted to seem a little different.
We talked a little bit about last year, but how did COVID impact your truck and your business planning and production?
Yeah, so I would say,
I guess it was sort of like the precipitator of the food truck, right? Because you had
so so 2020, right when the pandemic first hit, I was working in the wedding industry, which everyone knows how that went for the pandemic. So I kind of made that decision that by the end of 2020, it didn't look like the wedding industry was going to pick back up in 2021. And I wanted to make that plunge on my own. And I thought takeout was the way to go. So that got us to the truck, and then purchasing the truck, we didn't build a brand new truck on our own. So we did purchase it secondhand, which then, as it changed names, there were things that needed to be fixed and replaced to make sure it was up to code. And that is kind of where we felt a bit of the kickback from the pandemic. So last year, getting inspectors out took a couple more weeks than normal, right? And then ordering parts for everything was back ordered. We were looking at having a grill last year to be able to do grilled chicken. And the one we needed to fit the specifications the inspector had was 8 weeks on back order
Oh,
in August, right? So it was like,
right.
well, we're not waiting till September, the end of September to open, you know?
No, no.
So we just cut it off the menu,
Yeah.
worked with some fried chicken,
Yeah.
and we were able to get open at that point in time.
Well,
But
that supply chain stuff made a huge impact on a ton of businesses. And I know the food industry was no exception. But I think the cool thing about it is that it kind of led you to this point. It let you kind of go out on your own, and then it's one of those things that nobody's going inside, nobody's sitting down.
no.
I know, like, we all wore masks when we came up to your window as a courtesy or whatever your rule was, but it was a nice option to have good food that you could get at a restaurant or you could cook at home depending on your skill level. But it was like just a great option for people during COVID to have something different that we didn't have to put ourselves at home.
And I know for me, especially my family there last year and in the midst of the lockdowns and that, going for walks became the biggest thing, It's like, oh, we'll just go for a walk and we'll grab a taco to go, or whatever, right? So in that aspect, it worked very well. I still think delivery takeout is the way to go right now for the industry.
Yeah, like opening up, definitely COVID was sucked opening up, but once we were open, it felt like almost, I wouldn't say a benefit, but there was no restrictions anymore for us, right? Yeah. Like even in Ottawa, the city of Ottawa was actually opening up more places for food trucks to park, right? Because the restaurants were closed and stuff like that. So yeah, it was an awesome idea to kind of open up during that time.
Yeah.
Kind of a weird twist of fate.
Yeah. So I will say, and I did notice, so during the winters, last winter, I was helping out at Pitmaster for a little while. And I noticed it a bit during our season as well. But when there would be a lockdown in place, or the restrictions would be that a lot of these other restaurants had to be closed. Yeah. When those restrictions would lift and those places were able to open, we would noticeably have a slower week.
Right.
We were open the whole time. People were able to come and have our food. Now, their favorite place wherever is open again. So they want to go there. Right. Yeah. So in that sense, I would say, a little bit on those weeks we know it. But overall, as Nick said, it was more the setup side of things that it really affected us.
Yeah. That's great. And you guys are on social media. You've got pictures of your delicious food out there for us to drool over before you open. Do you want to share your website as well so that people can find your menu online?
So it was just going to be on our Facebook. On our Facebook page there under menu, there should be a picture of our menu there. But if you go to elpatchos.com, I believe it's business.elpatchos.com. It's not completely set up, but it will be set up by the time we're open.
all those back end things you got to take care of with a business, right?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Sure. And again, a lot of it too, right? With changing the menu this year, we have we're doing all that over again, right?
Yeah. So just one last thing before we wrap up, I ask all my guests this question for each of you. What's your favorite hidden gem in Lanark County? Whether it's a restaurant or a shop or a part of the outdoors, like what's your favorite place?
Yeah, that's a good one. Really good one. So my partner Holly and I, one of our favorite things to do is go to the bakery, the Old Town Bakery.
Yes.
Get a classic bakery sandwich, and then we go to the Riverwalk Trail down by the boat launch and walk and sit by the benches there. That's always kind of been our go-to thing to do.
It's such a great spot. And like, unless you're from here, you don't know that exists, right? Like,
Oh,
it
exactly.
looks
I
so
found
unassuming.
no, you're so right. And then I know, like for us when we were in high school, it was such like a rite of passage almost, to go get your bakery
Oh,
sandwich.
I remember. Or the giant cookies.
Yes, the big cookies. Yes.
Yeah. Nobody knows. And like the sandwich, you can barely fit it in your mouth, right? It's
They're
like
huge, fresh bread every day. The sandwiches are fantastic.
can't beat a good sandwich.
No, you can't.
What about you, Nick? What's your favorite hidden gem?
I don't know. It's a little hard. I to be honest, because I'm gluten and dairy free, there's not too many places that I can go to and get.
Right.
But I do remember if you were, do you remember Slackoni's at all?
Yes.
The restaurant Slackoni's. Well,
Yeah.
out on their patio is like there's like a waterfall that's right there, right? I always used to love going and sitting there, right?
Yeah.
It's just super nice to eat at. But
yeah. And now it's
not,
Bolton House, and the
and now
patio is
that's right.
still amazing. You can still watch the water. So good.
Yeah.
Patio season is coming. We're almost
It is.
there.
Yeah. I know Nick and I actually, we chatted a little bit last season and we didn't quite make it out there, but Three Apples Bakery in Pakenham.
Oh, I haven't been either.
No, but they are a completely gluten-free bakery.
Right.
We've been meaning to make a day trip and head out there with the old business card and check things out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to give them a call actually, now that you mentioned that, because I've
great.
heard a lot of really good things.
Yeah, I've only heard positive things about them. So,
yeah, cool. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me on the Lanark County podcast, and can't wait to see you once you open. Make sure you let me know so that we can give you a shout out.
Perfect. And thank you so much for having us today. It was a lot of fun.
You bet. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Bye guys. We'll talk soon.
Take care.
Bye.